I've written some stories about historical figures. This is this is one of those stories from the second collection. It is about a ancient Greek sculptor, an artist, and architect called Phidias. Every culture wants to leave an indelible impact on posterity. Whilst we remember many ancient cultures for the works in literature, philosophy, painting, or music, a great building always acquires special resonances. There's a tangible proof right there before your very eyes of that culture. You walk into a building that has been built thousands of years ago, and it is as if you're communing with the past. Whilst Athens is remembered more than any other ancient Greek city-state, the buildings and the sculpture that this story will look at was built in Elis. While some ancient monuments survive, it probably was destroyed around the time of Theodosius' brutal repression of pagan culture. This was the massive sculptor Zeus, the sky and thunder god at Olympia. The Greek sculptor and architect Phidias had been ostracized from Athens for various indiscretions, so the Eleans brought him over. They wanted to outdo the Athenians, so they brought in the foremost Athenian sculptor to create a religious monument for them. The massive sculpture was placed in a temple occupying half of it. The sculpture was so large and imposing that it gave the impression that Zeus was actually stood there. Zeus stood on a throne, clad in a golden robe. On his right hand he had a small statue of Nike, goddess of victory. On his left hand, built with many metals, he held an eagle. He was bearded, and his hair was wreathed with a branch of olive. He had golden sandals which rested upon a footstool. The statue was coated with olive oil to protect it. Phidias also immortalized Penthakis, the winner of the boys' wrestling tournament at the '86 Olympiad. He carved his name on Zeus's little finger. The floor surrounding the sculpture was paved with black tiles and surrounded by marble. There was a reservoir beneath it which acted as a reflecting pool, doubling the height of the statue. A man gazed at the image of the sculpture reflected on the pool. As he arched over a bit more, he saw his own grinning face reflected on the pool. This individual, an Elean named Leo, turned around and saw the two other people there, Phidias himself and another Athenian by the name of Pelios. This is a great work. It is as if you are in the presence of Zeus himself, Leo said. It is good that we have this building in Elis. It has been suggested that many Athenians are already jealous. Many pilgrims from other parts of the world are coming over specifically to see it. It is one of the wonders of the world. And it is all thanks to you, Phidias. Yes, Phidias replied. I think this is my greatest work yet. Although I am an Athenian, it is not situated in Athens. It would be great if we had such a marvellous work in Athens, and Pelias interjected. How long did you work on it? Leo asked. I worked on it for over 5 years in a workshop here in Elis. I used ivory plates, gold panels, wooden framework, alongside ebony, ivory, gold, and stones, Phidias continued. I am glad that all this work has paid off, and that we have this great monument, a tribute to the greatest gods of all, the god of sky and thunder. We need something like this to come in with a divine figure. A single glimpse makes you forget all your earthly problems, Pelias retorted. Without a doubt, a great achievement, Leo concurred. Carthaginians, Syracusans, Megarians, Thebians, Spartans, Thessalians, Lydians, Amphipolians, even Persians are coming here, making the long journey to see this marvellous artifact. Let us not forget, Athenians like myself, many out of spiteful jealousy. However, I do not feel jealous. On the contrary, I think this is a remarkable achievement, Pelias said. And you have immortalized Penthakis, Leo continued. Oh yes, Phidias replied. Just as he stopped saying this, a figure appeared in the distance. It was a young man with swarthy skin, short hair, and virile arms. He walked on the aisle next to the pool of water and approached the massive statue. He gazed at it with an impish grin on his face. And it is here right now, Phidias said. You admire this young man? Leo asked. Why else would I have carved his name and used his little finger? Phidias replied. It is beautiful, the young man said. Will it incentivize you to compete in more wrestling games? Phidias asked. Oh yes, every time I train and compete, I will come here for a quiet reflection and gaze up at the towering presence of this large marble sculpture commemorating one of our very great gods, Penthekis said. And think. Your name is immortalized in Zeus's little finger. As people forget about all the wrestling tournaments, your name will stay etched there. And Phidias answered, Yes. Well, will you return to Athens? And Phidias asked. No, I mean, they ostracized me. In any case, I will feel more comfortable here at Ellis, Phidias continued. I've never felt more comfortable, serene, and at peace than the last 5 years that I've spent sculpting at my workshop. It is a eulogy to the divine, but also a eulogy to the lovely Pantharchis. The young man smiled nervously. All four individuals gazed upwards to the ceiling, to the towering presence of Use's large, foreboding, and commanding face. They all felt content, overjoyed, and serene.